No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open represented, government says, and on Rivers crisis, Pandef sets up committee to reconcile Wike, Fubara. And then on to Edo State, APC decries Obaseki's recruitment of 4,000 teachers. And on Osun State, APC rejects Primate Ayodele's prophecy over 2026 Guba. On Ondo Poll, APC groups declare support for 8 DP candidates. And then on to Kano State Local Government poll, Kansiek issues meant bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Place economic stability and confidence. As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
Let me re-emphasize that the budget is not a book on the shelf of any government. A budget is a process. So when you follow through the process from January 1 to December 31, it is a complete year on the process. And we have done the process from January to October. So it makes no sense of anybody who thinks that the budget has commenced from January 1 to October should be revisited or represented. So that's an academic exercise, he stated. He explained that the pre-budget workshop was intended to offer people of the state the opportunity to examine how the state has performed in the implementation of the 2024 appropriation for the past 9 months. Mede said the workshop was also to appreciate the challenges and make reasonable and well-informed inputs in preparation for the formulation of the 2025 appropriation bill. Interesting. What do you have to say to this story, George?
Chairman, I must say that it's an unfortunate situation for a professor, to come out and be saying what he's saying. The budget is a legal document, and for a budget to have that legal effect, it must pass through stages. The assembly, that's the legislature, have a role to play because they are the true. They go the budget, they take to the assembly, who will go through it, after which they will now pass it into law. Once they pass it, it becomes a legal document that the executive government can now use to work. Unfortunately, they presented this budget to Edison Hill-led assembly, which the court has said was never speaker. And the court has directed that they should represent this budget to the authentic House of Assembly led by Martins Amehule. Unfortunately, for the government of Rivers State, over time, keep playing with the position of the law, trying to buy time and all of that, continue to exercise, what I call an impeachable offense. Because that you are a government, you were given that position by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The same Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gave the Assembly that authority to oversee what the budget is. So the government is not just about the executive, they have responsibilities. So the executive should not usurp the powers of the legislature. You are presented to someone who the law has said this person was never a speaker. You can't put something on nothing. You cannot stamp something on nothing.
But the commissioner is saying that they have presented the budget.
Presented to who? It was illegal at that instance.
And approved by the State Executive Council.
No, listen. State Executive Council is part of the executive arm of government. Budgetary process must pass through the legislature. And
they are arguing, they are of the opinion that it passed through the legislature.
As at the time you sent that in, they were never constituted to be Rivers State House of Assembly. Therefore, you have to represent this to the authentic house. Unfortunately, they have refused to do so.
Now let's look
at somebody is coming out to say what is he saying? Okay, ordinarily, in the same country where the law works, a person like that should be behind bars. Yes, because it's contempt of the courts.
But okay, now, Judge, he said on one hand, he talked about the due process. That's his point. Now, he raised a second issue there. And the issue he raised was the fact that the budget, Nigerian budget right now with the commencement of President Tinubu's administration started running a full circle budget. So now we are running a full circle budget. And he said that this budget started January 1 and is to run through December 31. And right now we are in October, a few days to the end of October. And he is of the opinion that the budget has completed its third quarter. It's almost at the completion right now. So now, are you expecting, that's his argument, are you expecting that they represent a budget where for the past 9 months the government has been spending from this budget?
With the House of Assembly led by Martins Amehule and asking them, the Rivers State government, to represent that budget. They refused deliberately. And now you're coming to tell us that the budget has run a full circle. There should be consequences for every action taken. This was deliberate by the Rivers State government. Unfortunately, I really don't know what is happening in this country that even those who are saddled with responsibility of enforcing the law are not doing anything about it.
What is the police to do at this point? Because now when the court gives judgment, you agree with me that the police is saddled with the responsibility of enforcing court orders and judgments.
Unfortunately, the police is powerless because it has to do with
yes,
a state government that has immunity.
The governor, on the other hand, has immunity. Now, when Justice Omotosho on January 22nd gave this judgment, asking the governor to represent, it was more like an order of mandamus, because that order mandated the governor. It was more of an order of mandamus, asking the governor, mandating the governor to present the budget to Martin Samehule, led House of Assembly, and by his judgment authenticating Martin Samehule. The governor came out to say that they are already, no, he didn't answer. It was when the appeal courts, gave their judgments that the governor answered, after Martin Samehule wrote to the governor with regards to the appeal court, not the last one. There are two appeal court judgments. The first one of Justice Wale. And after that, there was a plenary by Martin Samehule where they wrote a letter to the governor asking the governor to present the budget to Rivers State House of Assembly and telling him that he is working with impostors, people who are not known because, they were not screened by the Rivers State House of Assembly. The governor came out to answer. However, before that, the governor, the state government got an ex parte order barring the clerk of the house, barring the commissioner for justice, and the governor from receiving any correspondence or impeachment notice from the Rivers State House of Assembly. After which the governor came out and said that, they are already making plans for the 2025 budget. And here we are right now. So these arguments now, a lot of persons on my show, some stakeholders have said that the only solution to this right now is a political solution to the budget issue. Now, if a court gives judgment, if the court gives judgment, gender, can the parties, both the appellants and the respondents in this instance, decide to set aside the judgment of the court and go for a political solution, particularly considering the peculiarity of the crisis in Rivers State?
No, I don't think that once the court gives a judgment, a verdict on this particular matter, that the parties involved can decide to set it aside and bring up what we call political solution. The time for political solution is almost running out, because any judgment that is given by the court becomes a reference for future. So you cannot set it aside to say you want to do something. So it's better that they have not given a judgment, the both parties involved go there to withdraw the matter and apply political solutions to resolving the intractable issue involving the Rivers State government and the House of Assembly in Rivers State. But like I said, there should be consequences for every action.
How do you look at this issue? Isn't the governor right now, if he is to go with this judgment by Justice Omotosho, which has been affirmed by the appeal court, is that not him being in between the devil and the deep?
That is exactly the line. I have been hammering that there should be consequences for every action. It's not, in fact, even in law, ignorance is not tenable.
Excusable.
It's not excusable. This is not even the case of ignorance. From January of this year, Justice Omotosho has given a judgment. The man deliberately refused to abide by that judgment and continue to buy time. So for me, it's an impeachable offense. Once the court has affirmed that, which they have from the lower court to the appellate court, if the Supreme Court stamps it, that Martin, which we are expecting to be based on the provisions of the law.
What is the provisions of the
law?
No.
Based on the matter. Based on the matter that is before them.
Yes.
If the Supreme Court eventually stamps it, then I think the House of Assembly should know what to do. There should be consequences. That the fact that you're a governor or you're a president, that is why we have the rule of law as against the rule of might. We have checks and balances. Each of those arms of government complement and checks each other. Because if you don't do that, then one man will become too powerful and begin to act arbitrarily. So unfortunately, the governor of Rivers State has failed to understand that he's the governor does not mean that there are no checks. The assembly have oversight function of ensuring that there's balance.
Now, I think, Judge, this is probably where you'd be at variance with the perspective and the stance of the governor. I say this because, number one, you recall that when the governor hosted or received emissaries from Bayelsa State that were brought by Siriake Dixon, the governor, when he was addressing them, made reference to the Peace Pact, which he called the political solution.
Okay.
And when he was speaking, he said, I recognized the Martin Amehule-led River State House of Assembly because I chose to recognize them. And he said they are existing because I gave them a floating. And he said, if I de-recognize them, they cease to exist. And the governor went ahead to de-recognize them by his actions and by his utterances. And even when he spoke about the 2025 budget, the last time that Martin Amehule wrote to him, the River State House of Assembly, he said that they are preparing 2025 budget to present to Okojombo-led House of Assembly.
That is not known to the law.
That's on one hand. Now, let's look at the governor's perspective for a minute, shall we? Now, the governor, if the governor goes by the judgment, it means that he has to eat his words, meaning that now he is forced to recognize a House of Assembly he already de-recognized. That's on one hand. On the other hand, if he presents the budget to them, it means that not just has he recognized them, he has also accepted the judgment of the lower court and the appeal court. Now, he is now at the mercy of River State House of Assembly, which means he will present the budget, and Martin Amehule the River State House of Assembly might decide to go ahead with impeachment notice on the ground that the governor has been spending illegally from January to date.
Okay.
Now, if he chooses not to go with the appeal court and lower court judgment, what it means is that Martin Amehule, recognized by law, has the locus to start impeachment proceedings. So now it's a situation where I go to them, I might be impeached. I do not go to them, I might be impeached. So anyhow you look at this, is it going in the favor of the state government? If you were
not, I have said this repeatedly in different forums. If he knew what he was doing, he would have accepted the peace pact that was reached at the presidential villa, brokered by the president himself. Even up till now, it is still not late. Forget about eating your words. The law is the law, and the law does not, act on sentiment.
So are you saying the governor should go for a political solution in order to
I have been conversing for that, just to save his, so that he can finish his tenure and probably be in good books of everybody, including reversible that is governing.
All right.
The law is not on his side. If he continue this way, it's obviously that the law will strike.
Interesting. So you're speaking on River State and political solution that you are pushing for, right?
That is if I thought the other party will accept, because it appears they have crossed the Rubicon.
Anyway, it appears that there might be a ray of hope. The Pan-Niger Delta Forum, led by South-South leader Chief Edwin Clark, has set up a high-level peace and reconciliation committee to mediate and resolve the lingering crisis between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, Nyesom Wike, and Governor Similaye Fubara of Rivers State. In a communique issued at the end of its assembly meeting held in Port Harcourt during the weekend, Pandef said that the reconciliatory committee is also saddled with the responsibility of nipping in the bud all disputes and conflicts within the area. The communique was signed by King Alfred Dietes Piff, the Amayanabo of Tuan Brass, and First Military Governor of Rivers State as co-chairman, Board of Trustees, former Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Obong Victor Atta, co-chairman, Board of Trustees, former Nigeria Ambassador to Scandinavian countries, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Norway, Dr. Godknows B. Egali, National Chairman, Honorable Godwin Okotie, Acting National Secretary, and Dr. Obiwemvi Ominimini, National Spokesman. The Reconciliation Committee, which is headed by Obong Victor Atta, co-chairman, Pandef Board of Trustees, said, the Assembly hereby sets up a high-level peace and reconciliation committee to mediate on and resolve all disputes and conflicts within the area. Through the political quagmire between the former Rivers State Governor Wike and Fubara, though the political quagmire between the former Rivers State Governor Wike and Fubara was not added in the communique, but when the Pandef spokesman was asked if it was part of the mandate, he said in a text, that Wike and Fubara are not members of the committee, but the mandate of the committee includes reconciling their conflict. Recall that Wike and Fubara had been at loggerheads since the latter assumed office as governor in 2023, just as Fubara had said. The Cold War between the duo had continued despite President Bola Tinubu and other relevant stakeholders' intervention. George, you were talking about political solution before this story came up. Now, PANDEF has set up a committee to arbitrate and possibly reconcile Fubara and Wike. However, one would wonder how effective this committee is going to be, considering that Edwin Clark, Chief Edwin Clark, has been very vocal in antagonizing the FCT minister. He has written severally to the president. He has called for his, he has said a lot of things. At some point, a group of the Ijaw, I think Rivers Ijaw or thereabouts, also wrote to Chief Edwin Clark calling him to order. Now, Chief Edwin Clark is now coming at this point. You know, one would expect that probably this should have happened earlier, but then it is what it is. Do you see this committee set up by PANDEF able to reconcile Wike and Fubara, considering the pivotal role Chief Edwin Clark has played in the...
Men of caliber, men of honor, men who have had sway in the past, and every Niger Delta person must respect these eminent personalities. So I do not have any doubt about the ability. I don't have any doubt about the ability to, do what is necessary in reconciling the warring factions, the minister for the FCT and the governor of Rivers State. I do not have any doubt they have the capacity to do so. You understand? But what I'm saying here is this. It's unfortunate that these elders for far too long have allowed this rift, to degenerate to the level it has risen to. For me, I believe that there's no conflict that is beyond, resolution. Even the Israeli and Palestine, conflict, which appears to be the oldest conflict in the world, that have defied every move to reconcile them. Someday they come to a truce. So these elders who we respect so much, we had expected them long before now, to mediate on the issue and probably reconcile these warring factions, these brothers. But unfortunately, they allowed the goods to give birth, while they were at home as elders. It's unfortunate. Look at the composition. We are talking about former governor of Rivers State, former military governor of Rivers State, Diete Spiff, highly respected. We are talking about Edwin Clark, Urban Victor, a former governor of Akwa Ibom State. Where were they all this while? Probably they felt that, the Nyesom Wike would have lost the battle. They are not. That's this is my view. I think that they are coming now.
Go ahead.
They are coming now to mediate simply because they see that the law is no longer on the side of the governor. So that same political solution that we have been calling for all this while, that is what they are coming for now, to mediate. Where were they all this while? Were they outside the Niger Delta region? What stopped them from calling these two parties? But because they felt that the battle, because Fubara is the governor, and as a governor, it will be difficult for you to lose any political battle. So they felt that he will humiliate Nyesom Wike. Now that they have seen that the tide has turned, they are trying to call for. But I still believe that peace is priceless. Peace is priceless. If they are really genuine, if their intentions are genuine, if they really want peace for Rivers State, there's nothing stopping them from calling for this reconciliation meeting and apologizing to whoever that has been wronged and things like that, and we can still forge a common path and move ahead. Now, there's nothing wrong with that.
Now George, you have said some things. One, you said that you questioned their silence over
this
time, and you are of the opinion, if I got you right, that you are doubting the integrity of this peace committee because you feel that they are making this move now that to all intents and purposes and he appears to right now in the eyes of the law probably he might lose this fight, and you feel this is the reason why they are calling for...
It is obvious, Choma, it is obvious even to a non-follower of politics in River State. You know, this set of men were for the governor. It is just natural in our climb here.
Still, it now boils down to the question I asked you earlier, which you've not answered, by the way. When I asked you, when I considered the person and the role that Chief Edwin Clark has played so far in this crisis in River State, and the fact that it is clear that he pitched his tents with the governor. Now, you are saying that those people in Pandef clearly pitched their tents with the governor. Now, that's why it still boils down to the question. Do you now see this reconciliation committee making headway, considering their biasness?
That is why I said there is no conflict that is beyond reconciliation.
This conflict in River State, you know, it has trickled down to PDP National.
Yes, I know.
All right.
Chief
Edwin Clark.
No. Those things are permissible within politics in Nigeria. If someone pitches tent with another group, he can come out firing on all cylinders, firing all servers.
And if the person calls you for reconciliation, after all the damage done, what would you do? Will you trust? Because now, if you're talking about reconciliation...
That is why I said it's permissible within politics. What you see playing out happens within politics. Nobody takes any of those things to heart. At the end of the day, it's a terrible discussion.
All right. Okay. Let's still come back to the first intervention by the presidency.
Okay.
Because we're talking about reconciliation. Okay. Considering that the governor on his side did not fulfill some of the things in the Peace Pact, and the House of Assembly members, River State House of Assembly, also did not fulfill part of what they were expected to do. Now, trust has been breached. If they are to move into another reconciliation, or there is call for reconciliation right now, considering what happened in the past, and you know that this is part of the things that the governor is now dealing with, the fact that he withdrew that suit, his counter affidavit from Justice Omotocho's court, that is the major problem he's having. Do you agree with me? While Martins Ameule did not withdraw their own, and his shot was not followed through, and trust was breached. How do you see these parties now trusting another reconciliation move?
Choma, you will agree with me that the Presidential Peace Pact that was done by the president failed simply because the governor of River State, Fobara, felt that he was that powerful, and he felt he would have won the war if he had, in all intent, done what was agreed on that peace pact. We would not be here discussing this issue today. Peace would have, normalcy and peace would have returned to River State. But because this same set of persons who have been around him were the ones telling him, why would you accept that? Don't you know that River State government, you have your own power as much as the president have. Political solution is not constitutional. Do not accept it. You are not a weak man. This and that. That is why we find ourselves here today. It was based on that the assembly members, this man is not sincere. If we had done, they kept to some of the, part of the agreement, like in withdrawing the against the governor and all of that. But they still knew that the man was not sincere. So, to answer your question, as it is today, the governor who appears to have certain level of power is the one on the losing side. The news, like you said, is tightening on his neck. So if there's any, to implement 100% of it.
That's so that's on the side of the governor. Yes. Now, on the side of the River State House of Assembly and the side of the FCT, do you see them honoring the invitation?
Like I said, if this group, the people that wants to resolve this matter, come with all sincerity, to resolve this issue, and they sit. If the FCT minister and the House of Assembly members agree, they will be looking up to the governor to start the implementation on his part. If they see the sincerity, the genuineness in what he's doing, I'm sure if they accept to the peace pact, if they accept, if they accept to the peace pact, and see that the conditions will be, you go and start implementing some of those things agreed upon. Once they see the genuineness of his part, It's like you do three first, we'll do one. You do another three first, we'll do one. We'll be watching you. If you go against what we agree, then our own will still remain.
All right.
Because it has failed initially.
All right.
Yes.
Very well. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the show. Do not go away.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will face economic stability and confidence.
As always said, there are two sides of people: the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians is not about can come and salvage us from where we are.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social, economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Less than 20 days to the end of Governor Obaseki's tenure as governor of Edo State, the Transition Committee of the All Progressive Congress has accused the government of laying booby traps for the incoming administration of Monday Okpebholo with the recruitment of 4,000 teachers. ATN reports that Prince Kasim Afebua, a member of the APC Transition Committee, made the accusation on Sunday in a statement made available to newsmen in Benin City. Afebua, who was the media director of the All Progressive Congress Campaign Council, opined that the recruitment of the teachers by the outgoing government was also an attempt to overload the system for the incoming government. According to him, the purported recruitment of 4,000 teachers by the outgoing governor is in bad faith. He said, all through his active years as chief executive of Edo State, Governor Obaseki could not recruit any teacher to reinvigorate the educational interest of the state. We are, however, saddened by the sudden realization in the twilight of his administration that the educational sector now needs teachers. It is pertinent to alert the public, particularly those allegedly recruited as teachers, to disregard the exercise and see it as another political ploy by Governor Obaseki, known for using Edo Best to allegedly defraud the citizens, the World Bank and other donor agencies. He only used the project for personal self-aggrandizement and that of his cronies. If he meant well for the state, he ought to have done this recruitment long before now that his game was up, he alleged. Afebua recalled that Governor Obaseki's predecessor, Comrade Adams Oshomole, had recruited 2,500 teachers at the twilight of his administration, which he, Obaseki, flagrantly discontinued on assumption of office in 2016 out of alleged hatred for those who helped him to power. He, however, opined that the incoming administrator of Senator Okpebholo will follow due process in the recruitment of teachers, which he had consistently promised throughout his campaign period. According to him, Senator Okpebholo would not recruit teachers with a partisan mind, but with a determination to make Edo State better for our children. Playing politics with the recruitment of teachers will be the biggest disservice any governor will leave behind as a legacy. What do you have to say to this, George?
Well, I want to say that at every given opportunity, politicians want to tarnish the image of the other. For me, I'm going to say that I don't see anything wrong in employment of, even if it is 1 million teachers, provided it is needed in the state, provided there is the fund to pay for their services. All what the incoming government needs to do is to sit back, look at the matter and find out if the state actually needs these teachers Yes. That's my position. If they don't need these teachers, the state government can equally review these appointments to see if it is something that is not going to go well with them and all of that. So they should not be playing politics of, it doesn't matter when the government employ. The most important question to ask is, does those states, as a state, require this number of teachers to man their schools, both primary, secondary, and otherwise? If it is required, then I don't see any reason. I think the government is a continuum. The incoming governor should sit down with his team, review this matter and find out if it is needed. If it is not needed, you can still, review. After all, we've had cases in River State here where, Governor Fubara, yes, Governor Fubara, one of the recruitment exercises done for what they call Ignatius Ajuru University. Till today, that thing has not come up. He felt it was not done properly, and he cancelled it. So the same can be done in Edo State if the incoming governor feels it is not necessary.
Right.
So let Afebuwa, you should not even overheat the politics.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my position on that.
If I may ask you, Judge, how many years was Governor Obaseki the governor of Edo State?
This is 8 years now.
8 years.
Yeah.
Now, in 8 years, he did not deem it fit to employ teachers, and he waited until 2 weeks to the end of his administration. 2 weeks against 8 years. Judge, make it make sense to me, please. Yes, make it make sense to me.
No. Listen, you might want to be looking at it from that angle that he's just, being wicked to his, successor.
Is wicked the right word, or pettiness?
Well, however you want to look at it, trying to make the man not to succeed by, giving him something that is beyond the capacity of the state to handle. That is why I said the incoming governor, Senator Kwabelo, should sit with his team and review that recruitment exercise. Look at what comes into the state. Look at the recurrent expenditure. Look at the recurrent expenditure of the state and know if it is something that the state can handle. If it is something they cannot handle, they can as well review that and decide to. It has happened in several places. The same Afebuwa accused Obaseki of refusing, to align with what the former governor Adams Oshomole did in terms of recruitment. So Senator Kwabele can equally do the same. For me, those people who we are employed are Edo citizens. For me, they should check if Edo State is in dire need of teachers to teach their children.
If Edo State is in dire need, we are still saying the same thing. If Edo State is in dire need of teachers, why did it take Obaseki 8 years to do the needful? Now, let's look at...
It's about priority. It's about priority.
It's about priority.
It could be that Obaseki has at that time did not give priority to education.
If you say their need, I'm using your language.
Yeah.
Their need means it is existential at that point. Now, if it was a their need, it means that it should be top priority actually.
Yeah, it should be top priority, but if the man feels there are other things, because in the scale of preference, whether you, I don't know how you want to look at it. It's about the man.
Let's look at it from the economic implication.
Okay.
Let's look at the economic perspective. Now, yes, there is increased FAC allocation across all states, and then with increased FAC allocation also came the increased minimum wage. And Governor Obaseki pledged to pay above the 70,000 naira minimum wage. It is also very expedient to note that 70,000 naira is minimum, the least a civil servant can take, which means at different levels in civil service, there is also implementation of that percentage across board. Now, that means that, let's assume, I'm not saying for a fact, but just assumption that the wage awards in Edo State would take from the budget monthly would take about when it was less than that, the Edo State government used to pay, let's say, 1 billion naira monthly in wage awards. Now with this increment, and the Edo State government pledged to pay above the minimum. With this increment, Edo State government might be paying up to 3 point something billion naira in the wage awards monthly. like I said, it is not a fact, it's an assumption, but I'm trying to use it to lay background for the economic perspective. Now, moving forward, you would see that now, Okpebholo, as the incoming governor, has not sat down to look at the liabilities and the assets he's going to inherit from Obaseki. And Obaseki goes ahead to even burden the state right now with extra 4,000 teachers. When you multiply the 4,000 teachers by 70,000, above 70, I think those states should be paying about 80,000 or 5,000 naira thereabouts. When you multiply 4,000 by 80,000 naira, your guess is as good as mine. If, like you said, education was a priority, he deemed it that important. Right now, the government of Edo State is in the process of transiting power to another. Hence, the transition committee set up by Edo State and the APC transition committee. Why not, if government is a continuum indeed, why not help the incoming government? This is what I intended to do. However, I was not able to implement this. In your wisdom, this is what you can do. Why bring in the 4,000 teachers right now? If Okpebholo comes into the system, the government, and chooses not to go ahead with these teachers, it puts him in a bad light with the 4,000 teachers and some persons in Edo State who probably would have applauded this move without looking at the economic implication on the state.
Chairman, I must say this. It's very important that the incoming governor, he has already set up a transition committee, to interface with the outgoing government, and kind of inform him on the areas what they need to do and all of that. Now, you also agree with me, though government is a continuum, but every leader wants to tie something to his name. If you look at the employment, the people who out of that 4,000. You agree with me that many of them will be those who are one way or the other related to the government or related to those who are in the government and all of that. So if you say you should advise the incoming governor also has its own people. So these are some of the challenges, the bottleneck that we're having in the Nigerian political system.
So why did it take him 8 years to do that?
I'm coming. I keep on saying this. Okpebholo is the incoming. He has his transition team set up. If Obaseki has employed 4,000 teachers, it is for Okpebholo to come with his team as a governor. They will sit down, review these things, know how much is coming into the states, how much they are generating from IGR, know what is to go for capital expenditure, know what is supposed to go for recurrent expenditure, which is the salaries, emolument and things like that. If what the state is, because the state cannot go beyond what they are receiving, if what the state is receiving is more than enough, I don't see anything wrong in continuing, provided it is important that those teachers are from Edo State and they will teach Edo children. However, yes, if the money that is coming into Edo State is not sufficient enough, to pay the salary, because every government, every public expenditure has to do with capital expenditure and recurrent expenditure. No government will say, let's take 100% or 95% of our money to be paying salaries. Nobody will do that. You must set aside something for capital expenditure. So if at the end of the day, they review how much that is coming in, look at the wage bill of the state and see that the recurrent expenditure is far outweighing what is supposed to go for capital expenditure. There's nothing stopping them to say, okay, let's review. Let's look at this employment. If it went in line with the rules, they should review all these things and know how to
choose whether to go ahead with improvement or not. All right, moving forward. Osun State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has called on its members and supporters to disregard certain remarks by Primate Elijah Ayodele, the head of Inri Evangelical Spiritual Church, claiming that the party's chances in the upcoming 2026 gubernatorial election in the state is dependent on cooperation between prominent party members. This call was contained in a statement by Kola Olabisi, the Osun APC Director of Media and Information on Sunday in Oshobo. The party revealed that Primate Ayodele had, in a widely circulated video, stated that APC's victory will hinge on uniting former Osun Governor Isiaka Adeboyega Oyetola, currently the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, with former Minister of Interior Ralph Arabeshola under the Omoalabi movement. Rejecting Ayodele's prediction, the APC asserted that the claim was unfounded and intended to create unnecessary tension within the party. Olabisi, who described Ayodele's statement as a political analysis disguised as prophecy, maintained that our party is united and working diligently towards success in 2026 without external influences, citing Ayodele's past incorrect predictions as grounds for dismissal. Olabisi pointed out, this is the same prophets who falsely predicted former President Goodluck Jonathan's continued rule till 2019 and claimed that Atiku Abubakar would win the 2023 presidential election. George, what do you make of this story, please? I can't I can't continue at this point because what do you make of this story? I will still bring out other predictions of primates.
I want to align with someone who said the primates should come out openly to say, I'm a politician and I'm giving this analysis based on my understanding of politics, not to hinge it on prophecy. Prophecy from who? Why are we in 2024 still, dependent on, reacting to some of this? I mean, it looks somehow. We have been following American politics and developed clans. You don't see somebody, don't they have spiritual leaders there coming to say we are predicting this based on prophecy from who? He should come out openly to say, I'm interested party in this. I think that it's important for this party to unite their leaders and all of that. If they want to stand any chance, we will take it just the same way I'm here, discussing this. So I don't think it is necessary, for him to be taken seriously. He should not be hinging it on any prophecy. Nobody appeared to him. Nobody told him anything. He should just say, yes, there's need to reconcile these political elders so that the party will stand a chance. That's my position on the matter.
All right. Now let's look at probably, Primate Ayodele has been very, very vocal in Nigeria and Nigerian politics. And he has always come out with prophecies, usually at the beginning of the year and towards the end of the year. And during the elections, upcoming elections, he was actually vocal, prophesying. And now Osun State APC has come out to remind him of one of his prophecies that failed. Now, let's look at the influence of religion on people, the masses. Usually, most pastors are seen as demigods. They are very close to God, as most Nigerians see them. So now when they speak and they term it prophecy, people believe that that is what it is. Is there any possibility, considering that Primate Ayodele it wields a lot of influence, particularly in the Southwest, you cannot take that away. Is there a possibility that statements like this could sway the minds of people, now making certain persons believe that until and unless these two, Ralph Arabeshola and the other former governor, reconcile, well, they are not going to vote for them. They may not vote for APC. They do not believe that APC is going to make it. Do you see such this statement by Ayodele having influence that might be inimical to the success of APC?
Obviously, it does have the influence to, change the mindset of the electorate who ordinarily, in this clan, this part of the world, most of us, believe in these religious leaders and all of that. And that is the reason why the party is warning him, because they know he's very influential in that his religious sphere. So whatever he says, some gullible minded people by God and all of that.
Right.
That has, to answer your question, as a very influential religious leader, you know, the position he has taken is capable of influencing the electorate, because in this clan we still have people who are gullible to the point of believing whatever, whether they don't even have the mind to investigate if what this person is saying is actually the true position of things. So it has that influence to do so.
Okay. And on those state polls, APC group declares support for SDP candidate. Ahead of the forthcoming Ondo State governorship election, several groups within the All Progressive Congress have declared their support for the candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Benson Akimboye. The groups comprising Ondo Patriots, Ondo APC Solidarity Group, Jagaban Coalition, and APC Youth League stated that they are backing Akimboye as they consider him the better candidate. In a statement on Sunday, the groups led by Comrade Dele Oyewo of Ondo Patriots claimed that the process leading to the emergence of Lucky Ayadetiwa as APC board. The statement added, Benson Akimboye, having reviewed his life achievements, especially in the business sector, and through some spiritual insights, is believed to represent a beacon of light for Ondo State, set to shine over darkness from February 2025. In line with the principles of the law of karma, we, the members of various APC groups in Ondo State, led by Comrade Dele Oyewo of Ondo Patriots and other groups like the Ondo APC Solidarity Group, Jagaban Coalition, and APC Youth League, consider the endorsement of Governor Lucky Ayadetiwa to be not only an anomaly against electoral laws, which require free and fair primaries, but also a disservice to the dignity of our nation. Consequently, we fully reject his candidacy. We also use this medium to urge the general public to disregard the misinformation regarding an alleged defection of some SDP members to the People's Democratic Party. This rumor is a fabrication, a total distortion promoted by PDP governors with a malicious agenda. The Benson Akimboye we know has a deep-rooted history in the PDP, having spent 24 years building the party. Now in APC, many groups and individuals are eager to support him, recognizing his record of service, love and humanity, and understanding of the consequences of voting for Ayadetiwa, even for an additional year as governor. We boldly declare that SDP is currently the most popular party in Ondo State. As this election approaches, we believe the party and its candidates offer a better choice, set to dismantle the castles of lies constructed by the APC and PDP. Judge, what do you make of this story?
Chairman, I must say that what you're saying out here is people who are aggrieved, you know, in their party, whose preferred candidate did not make the cut. So for them, the best thing is to pitch tent with someone, you know, they feel that will accommodate them in his politics. This is political. It is permissible within the politics of Nigeria. You know, Ayadetiwa appears to be the candidate of the All Progressive Congress. So obviously this set of persons, maybe it could be for zoning, they feel that he has usurped what was not supposed to be his and all of that. So they feel that because they have to align, it's about alignment and realignment. So do not take anything they're saying so seriously in politics. It's all about everybody securing his own part. If you listen to the people supporting Ayadetiwa, they will equally tell you things against these other people. So this is permissible within Nigerian politics. It's normal. Let everybody go to the poll. If at the end of the day, their candidate, their preferred candidate wins, so be it. You understand? So, but do not take what they are saying seriously, like trying to downplay or run down Ayadetiwa as not being capable of
winning the election.
It's permissible within the political context.
Let's look at how Ayadetiwa in the first instance emerged as the governor. You recall that when the late Akeredolu was very sick, Akeredolu did not refuse to hand over to Ayadetiwa. At some point, he took the intervention of the president for Akeredolu, the late Akeredolu, to hand over to Ayadetiwa. You recall that after Ayadetiwa emerged as the governor, Akeredolu's wife Ayadetiwa did not have the blessing of Akeredolu, and Akeredolu was greatly loved by Ondo people. So it was there was friction, and even after Ayadetiwa emerged as governor, he did not move to reconcile. He did not make moves with, you know, different people that probably didn't support him, and knowing that he wanted to still come back to be the governor. Now, APC have internal wranglings in Ondo State, and probably this is now showing out through this sense. Even though later Kitty's wife has been silent, to a large extent, you cannot take away her influence in Ondo politics. You also I don't know if you recall when Aketi's cousin, by the way, Akeredolu is known as Aketi. Aketi's cousin openly supported Ayadetiwa. You recall Akeredolu's wife, Aketi's wife, coming out to, you know, use vile words on her, attacked her for openly supporting the governor. Now, there are camps, and now it is time for elections. Though Ganduje said they are making moves to, you know, reconcile them like they did in Edo State and other states, but in Ondo State it appears that this might not be working yet, because this balkanization, this was part of what affected PDP. Even at the last general Guba election on Edo State, at the general election, it affected PDP, this balkanization. Yes, you might say, oh, they are aggrieved. Those numbers, doesn't it count in the polls?
Of course, it does count. It does count, but let me say something. Akeredolu, who was the former governor, was sick, and he traveled for, you know, treatment abroad. The Constitution provided that when you are leaving for such, you should hand over power to your deputy. The Constitution made provisions for that. Unfortunately, we did not. Why we are people against Ayadetiwa? Why? See, the Constitution knew that at some point a man will either get sick or there will be reason for you, you know, not to perform your official functions. That is why they have the deputy who will remain silent while you act as the governor. The day issues like that comes up, either for medical reasons or for whatever reason, he becomes the next person in charge. So in the first place, that Akeredolu traveled before he died to wherever for treatment and refused to hand over power is even an aberration. Then for those who were against Ayadetiwa for trying to lay claim to what constitutionally belongs to him, what for? But I will agree with you that, you know, in this part of the world, politics, there is a lot attached to it. You know, that is why we have strong men as against strong institutions. So those who already were benefiting one way or the other from Akeredolu felt that benefit will no longer come with Ayadetiwa. He will definitely want to consolidate power by building his own people and all of that, which actually was what happened. Because at the end of the day, Aketi died, so automatically power went to the deputy, which is constitutionally provided for. Now, the same man wants to run. Because of that hatred of what happened, that is what is leading to the balkanization. I agree with you that for a grassroots politician, he would have looked for a way to reconcile all these people. It doesn't take anything to lobby people. It doesn't, after all, when Aketi was sick, the cousin, like you rightly mentioned here, supported Ayadetiwa as against, you know, the family or people who believed in Aketi. It's all about lobbying. Lobbying is permissible within politics, even in developed countries. It's not bribery. Please, I need you to support me because I know you have the influence, you know, to help me, you know, win this or get that. Please, I need your support. In the course of that, of course, something we give way. It's not bribery. It's about lobbying people. So, what I expected Ayadetiwa to do at this stage would have been to reconcile all the factions, because election is a game of numbers. Everybody who is an electorate that has a thumb, is very important in every election, because we have votes count. Every one vote is very important. So you need everybody. That's why they do have political party. You need everybody and supporters to be able to win the election. So if you say you don't want to deal with them, and push them away. They will definitely take their votes. And for every one person, the person may have 1 or 2 persons that he's having influence over, that he can tell where to vote and things like that. So you need every strong stalwart, to help you.
But now, seeing how these things are, how do you see it playing out in the coming Guba elections?
Obviously, it will affect Aiyedatiwa strongly.
Okay.
Except the party at the national level waits in, to see how they can reconcile everybody. But if that reconciliation never happens, what that means is that it will be very difficult for Aiyedatiwa to win the election. It will be very difficult for him, because if these people have pitched their tent with someone who was already known in the state, who has political influence, the candidate of the SDP, what that means is that it will be difficult for the APC candidate. So I would have said that as a politician, it is not too late. It is not too late for him to still go back to see how he can reconcile the differences the party is having, so that they can form a formidable and united team to go into the election.
All right. Thank you so much, George, for coming on Open Conversation. It was a pleasure having you.
It's always a pleasure having you around too.
Thank you. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. Thank you, our viewers, for always staying tuned and watching us. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials: Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network; Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. Propagandists are proper to leave of this minister and the
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles,
Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place